This is yet another glazing of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Um, I'm creating this video primarily because, so it's gonna be either this or clean my room. Okay, room is clean. One of the reasons I'm also doing this, just kind of like an exercise, but also for my sister. Particularly, she's a kind of like a primarily a mom who doesn't really have time for video games, but really suddenly just contacted me and told me that, yeah, I want to do it. I want to finally do it. I want to play a video game. She normally plays like mostly horror stuff. So I'm going to try, just try. I will probably fail, but I'm going to try to maybe have her appreciate a very different video game, crazy different genre, totally different thing from what she normally does or plays. This video also will be kind of like not really just in a different perspective, in something like the video doesn't really even have to be like a gaming video. It's really more like watch this and why video, a very generic thing. So let's try to give this a shot. All right, so what is going on? I'm sure you somehow have heard of Clair Obscur. That's probably why you're clicking the video because it's really crazy. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, right? Um, this video game kind of came out of nowhere and conquered the entire industry. It's really crazy. And some of the pinpoints of the story is that, let's start with where it all came from, right? So apparently, this came out of people from Ubisoft. Ubisoft, if you guys don't know, is this huge gaming company that's been getting a lot of criticism for being annoyingly corporate, microtransactions, stuff like that. It's extremely, yeah, just yucky corporate stuff. So apparently, some employees just went ahead and like, yeah, I don't like this job anymore. I want to do something of my own, something original, something awesome. So they just did it. And they did it, and they created one of the greatest games, basically, that's ever been made, ever. Uh, Winning a lot of awards, easily getting 90 something percent for a chance to win this year's game awards, which is basically like the Oscars of video games. It's crazy. It's really out of nowhere. It's just yeah, I'm gonna keep saying crazy because it really is just crazy. So yeah, they're all newbies, and that's also something you need to really effectively point out. That almost everyone involved in the creating of the video game are noobs on the genre at some point. They're amazing, but they're really just new. Like, let's start with, of course, the people who created them. I don't have their names written, but just to give you a background, these people, this is their first game, and they didn't have a publisher yet. A small publisher, I think, is called Kepler Interactive. Just gave them a chance, and then just rolled with it. You know, and you have this. Yeah, when they were trying to develop the video game, there are aspects to the video game, like, right? Like, for example, um, we need some kind of a animator, and they just went ahead and got one who never really worked at a video game and created a freaking masterpiece. And they got, let's get some voice actors, and they get a voice actress, and then she just happened to kind of know how to write, so she wrote a story for the video game. And it turns out it's literally one of the greatest stories ever created in a video game. It's just crazy. They're all beginners and are creating amazing art in each of the aspect of the video game. Great gameplay from this newbie gameplay maker guy. Great graphics from people who never really worked uh, on graphics before, almost, stuff like that. And oh my god, I don't even want to start about music yet. Because Clair Obscur Expedition 33, without a doubt, woo, damn, the fucking music is just crazy. It's like it's like Hans Zimmer Star Wars shit. It's like Land Before Time shit, but better. It's just crazy. We will talk about that later. Gamer, you don't have to be some kind of a special person looking for a new thing or anything like that. Just this is something good and you should experience it. Something as simple as that. This is Clear Obscure. Let's talk about graphics and visuals. Something really amazing about this video game is I don't want to give spoilers or anything, but it's really designed so that the narrative has probably one of the biggest playground for art in the most literal sense. I don't want to give away anything, but it's really aggressively French, and not really just aggressively French, but aggressively French in its culture. And you know that art in all aspects with the French people are really important, or like great, or just, high level. I think it's really part of their culture of like being posh and um classy French people, that they have good art. I mean, it's not really a stretch to say they have the most famous stuff in terms of art. Anyway, that's my point. The graphics are just impeccably beautiful for an indie studio. Um, which is also something crazy because in video games like this, especially turn-based video games, more on that later, would use of I would like to say cost-effective art styles. Like pixel art, or maybe something with less details, not human features. This is crazy different because despite having little budget and despite being really small in terms of a company, it's crazy. They just went all in. The beautiful, realistic human faces. You would easily mistake for something that a huge company made, like Assassin's Creed or God of War or Ghost of Tsushima, stuff like that. That's basically the level of detail they're using, despite being a half price independent title. It's half price. It's crazy. More on that later. But my point being is that not only just a technologically type of beautiful thing with all the realism that Unreal Engine 5 actually does, but even the art style of it. And don't want to give away a lot of things, but imagine going in a world where you're underwater, but you're really not. So you're walking and you're seeing bubbles, and then you're seeing a whale fly past you like a fucking bird. So that's just one of the things you can end up seeing in Clair Obscur. A very, very ridiculously beautiful game. And let's move on to something a bit more hard to swallow, being a newbie person on these sort of things. Gameplay. So gameplay in Clair Obscur is again uh, um using superlatives in basically every aspect. It's crazy. It's crazy good. Because it's turn based, and yeah, I'll try and dive deeper on that later. But I want to say that if you're playing this game, you will not be bored. The game is has excellent pacing. Um, It teaches you the very basic. You walk around and understand everything in a matter of seconds, really. Just learn to walk, learn to press X if you want to interact with something, and then just control the camera. That's mainly all about it, really. It doesn't waste your time. It teaches you the basics, it engages you in the mechanics immediately. It's all straightforward, walking to the next place, into the next location, and to all these amazing things. And the way you like fight and interact with enemies, for example, you immediately just understand what it is. It will get complicated, of course, like most games are, because if it's never really complicated, then just it tends to be boring if it's not complicated. So it introduces all the complications slowly, so that shouldn't be an issue. And lastly, with the gameplay, is that even though it's initially simple, it's sophisticated in its technicality. What I mean by that is the intensity. Um, Imagine that you're almost out of resources, but you're still standing, and you're almost out of life, and the enemy is almost out of life. But even though everything is just completely unfair, you will always, always still have a way to win somehow. But since it's turn based, you're kind of like just standing there. The enemy is standing there, and you're staring at each other, and then just, okay, what do we do next? And then you do the wrong thing, and then you're dead. Or if you're smart enough, if you strategize well enough, in that last moment, if you're aware enough and you're focused enough, you're both almost kind of dead, you win because you did something right. That is what Clair Obscur can potentially do for you. So yeah, I might try to deep dive more on that later. But okay, let's start with the music. Oh my god, the music. When I first played this video game and after I finished it, it felt unfair. It felt really just wrong to just have played it on Game Pass, which is basically like the Netflix of video games. So I didn't really pay for Clair Obscur. And that felt wrong. It just felt icky to not have supported them more. So the very first thing I did after fully enjoying the game, I went to Steam and bought the soundtrack. The soundtrack is crazy. It is quite literally, without exaggerations, um, one of the best, if not the best, music ever created for any video game ever. That is just crazy true. And what's crazier about that is this composer, Laurent Testard, the French guy, this is his first video game. This is the first video game he composed for. Everything he did here is new, and it's the first thing he ever really done for in a video game. There's lots of documentaries out there that explains how or why this is crazy, but all I'm saying is that for a first timer, he just drops one of the greatest soundtracks ever and then just left. You know that meme. But anyway, yeah, crazy, crazy music. You know what? I'm going to try to demonstrate how crazy Claire Obscure's music actually can be. And here's how I'm going to try to do that for you. I'm going to listen to just one of the songs. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Just listen to a song. Okay, so turns out I probably can't play actual music in this video. I can't really portray the how special the music is without compromising this video for copyright concerns. But all I can say is this wouldn't be too hard. All you need to do is just check out all these reaction videos in Clair Obscur Expedition 33's music in YouTube. That's all you really need to do. Just do Clair Obscur music reaction, something like that, and you'll see a bunch of YouTubers reacting to how banger the music is, and how they're just amazed, and shocked. You even have these so-called music experts, or maybe actual music experts, analyzing pieces and telling people how it's so layered with so many meanings. And it's not even exaggeration. Most of the lyrics actually match what's happening in the video game. You know, it's all really seamlessly integrated into the actual video game. That's how awesome the soundtrack is. It's orchestral, it's operatic. It's really for those who has experience with actual video game music. Um, the last time I felt something like this would be something from Near Automata, and much further than that would be something from Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda, and much older than that would be Chrono Trigger. So, yeah, there are other, amazing music as well from other video games, but those are my top five, whatever. But yeah, my point being is Expedition 33's music alone is already a reason to just experience this art. Just the music alone, it's crazy. Just check out YouTube. Look at people who are reacting to the music. And I'm not saying it because the reaction is good, therefore the music is good. The music is just good, man. It's just crazy, crazy good. And also, there's this part. It's kind of, yeah, it's also kind of crazy how dynamic it is. Like, it's really just a jumpy orchestral music, and then you have this sad, really emotional music, and then this epic music of adventure that suddenly becomes a rock opera. It's crazy. All that in an indie half price title. It's so crazy. And then suddenly you get some weird acid jazzy sound, which is almost comedic. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but yeah, it's a dynamic music that is worthy of all of the awards it's been getting. And it's kind of, so crazy how awesome the music is, that when for some reason it didn't get nominated for a Grammy for video game music. And what got nominated for Grammy in video game music are all just generic lame crap. It just shows how crappy the Grammys are, actually. That they don't know that this year Expedition 33's crazy soundtrack existed, and they just went with. Actually, let me check out what they have for the Grammys. Music 2025. Okay, Grammy winner for Best Video Game Soundtrack. We have Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring. Okay, that's actually decent. Split Fiction, not really. I played it, I finished it. I don't remember a single music piece from it. Maybe the ending, you know. Peak. Yeah, there's no Clair Obscur here. This is crazy. Again, yeah, this just shows that Grammys are just lame. Really, really lame. Crazy music, just orchestral shit in a half priced video game. How the fuck, you know, do you say this is just a bad deal? It's not. It's the best deal you could ever have in terms of video game, really. Amazing art. I don't want to say amazing video game, it's just amazing art in total. That's how great it is. And I actually got choked up and listened to that. That's just some crazy shit, man. That's art in its um supremacy in it, and it's like a fine form of art. Not even just video game art, just art in its best sense of like definition possible. Something I'd like to emphasize as well, moving forward to this video, is that people who really don't enjoy video games don't really understand that video games is just a medium. Okay, this is very important. It's just a medium. It's just a type of way to deliver art to you. Okay, so my point being is there's so many aspects of this video game that you will 100% eventually enjoy, so that this, this medium, or rather this piece of work, will deliver just something amazing to you. Like in a there's a strong chance that even though you don't know anything about video games, if this thing gets delivered to you somehow, you will find something amazing on it. And that's worth the work of trying to convince you to try something weird in you, something you've never done before, or something that you probably even hate. I understand the hate in video games, but if you can find yourself to break that barrier, you will find amazing art. That is the point. That is why I'm creating this video, and this is why also, worth doing, even though I don't have experience in doing this. Okay, so let's move forward to the next topic, which is story. So they hired a voice actress, and for some reason, the voice actress just went, let me try. Let me try to write a story for this. And she did. And she just created one of the greatest stories ever. The point being, I'll give you a really, really small morsel of the story, which is crazy enough. That morsel is one of the greatest hooks done or executed ever in this medium. That's how crazy it is. So in the first 15 minutes, you don't even hear some kind of narrative on what's going on. In some video games, it starts with attacks like 300 years ago in the world of this and that or whatever. People are dying and it's so hard. It's never like that. It's really more like a very natural flow of seeing someone uh, throwing stuff, in the rooftop. And then somehow 15 minutes after that, you already know that you're in a fantasy world. You already know that people are dying because of this paintress. And you already know that this paintress writes a number every year, and people with the age that are within or above that number will die in some kind of an anniversary. And they're kind of like celebrating it in a way per year. So within 15 minutes, you have this entire story in your head that you understand already, all the moral dilemmas on it, the artistry of how it's delivered to you, all that within 15 minutes is already crammed in your head to push you to go forward and pursue the rest of the story. Keep in mind, I said that's the morsel, because that's how deep this all is. It's so deep. That's just like 5% of, like, I think, as far as I can remember, there are four, maybe five acts. This story is so crazy that what I just told you is just not, I think it's not even the first act. It's just the first 15 minutes. And every act has a crazy, 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 crazy twist that keeps you going to the next act and to the next and into the next. Crazy story. You need to experience this. It's amazing. And yeah, let's move into the next aspect, price. I mean, dude, all that I've been saying so far for something that's just half price on what you normally see in the industry, it's just crazy. It really is crazy. You'd be dumb not to buy this. You'd be dumb not to enjoy this. As simple as that. It's crazy cheap. You should get this art piece. I'm not gonna even say that it's a video game for a crazy cheap amount of price, as opposed to the f- the triple A video games that they keep saying. As opposed to all that, you just get half price of that, and you get an art piece that really should be kept for all time. This is worth the money in the best sense of the phrase possible. And yeah, there's this part of all this ranting and talking head thing that I'd like to talk about, um, which is particularly the glazing of all this. That's why I titled the video "The Glazing," Get Under the Glazing of Clair Obscur, because I'm just gonna be that guy again, who you've probably heard a bunch of times. I'm gonna be glazing a lot on Clair Obscur, but it's worth doing it, despite everyone else is doing it as well. Because there's something going on, something weird happening right now. Because this game is just so crazy good, given the barrier of entry in video games like this, there will be a lot of people who have not experienced the game. And these people are really just bashing the game for no reason other than the accolades that they keep seeing are annoying. That is why they're bashing the game. Is because they're so annoyed that people are just saying it's so good that they get tired of hearing it. That's it. They just hate uh they just hate the game for something that's not really even their fault. And I even get it, you know. People who tend to say, "Oh my god, it's so good. It's so amazing. You got to try it." Annoying people. I get it. And yeah, this art piece is so annoyingly powerful that they got a lot of people enough to glaze it so hard that people who are not within that sphere are annoyed, and they're toxic, and they're against it so bad. Popular streamer named Shrooms, or Shroud. I think the name Shroud. Um, Probably didn't even play the video game and just said, "Guys, we need to do a campaign. We need to do a campaign to make sure that this game does not win Game of the Year." Why? That's some form of bigotry. You know, why do that? That's fucked up. I mean, I get if you think that your game is better, but just for not probably even seeing how good this game is and considering why people are thinking it's good, you know, and just closing your opinion on one thing and then just pumping up the other without fair justification on both, and trying to experience both and have a clear answer on why something is good against the other, and that's a form of bigotry, I think. And you shouldn't be like that. So yeah, there is a very toxic situation right now in the industry of hating Clair Obscur Expedition 33 because it's so annoyingly good everywhere. And to add on that, in the there's a lot of game awards that's been happening already. Very particularly not the main Oscars thing, which is the Game Awards. That's like the main thing. But even before that, there's already this other great thing, which is the Golden Joystick Awards. And the Golden Joystick Awards, they The game has just been sweeping in almost every category, not just getting nominated, but winning in almost every category that they got nominated for. They just win and they just sweep. And yeah, the other phenomena worth mentioning on this is that uh, I would like to say that they deserve every award that they ever win because that's just how good this thing is, man. But even if yeah, and that there's still an aspect of it being unfair because how about those that are also quite good, you know? Because all these things are just opinion based, and specifically in Golden Joystick Awards, they measure it purely by audience reception, by the fans voting 100%, not really an analytical thing with the panel of experts. It's nothing like that. It's just how many votes can you give this, and that can be quite unfair. And people and work that might actually um, arguably be better than Clair Obscur are getting sidetracked. They're not getting the attention that they deserve. So the phenomenon here is that every time the Clair Obscur people are going on stage and actually accepting the award, they would mention a specific game from that same category that they say deserved the award. So it's super wholesome. A weird wholesome phenomenon of what's happening right now is that a game so good, sweeping everything in every category, comes up and kind of like mention that this game also deserved the same award. They're balancing things out in a weird way. It's crazy. It's a really crazy phenomenon. That's what's happening with Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and all the awards it's getting right now. People's fatigue on it is understandable, but we should be better than just blindly hating it for the wrong reason. Eh, And also, you should really just fucking play the game. Moving on. Um, I'm going to try to tackle the challenges in experiencing this media. So let's start with the very basic one. I don't like video games. Yeah, um, that's fair. But again, do not be blinded by the stigma. Do not be blinded by the idea that video games will sap your time and just ruin your life because you'll get addicted to it or something like that. Video games are bad. There's always a better medium to deliver how great something is, you know. And I would acknowledge that, but also that's kind of dumb, you know, because it's fine if you don't have experience on something to try to um, get into it, but also you're in a stigma. I think you're in this false narrative on what something is, you know? So if you can try to break that and actually try and like back up what you always say to yourself when you keep saying that I'm not your typical person, I try and strive to see what's actually going on beyond the cover of this book, or beyond what is being mentioned by everyone. Be that person at the very least for this art piece, for this amazing work, because I'm telling you, it will be worth it. Whatever taste you have, you will find something here that you have not felt before, and it's probably top five of whatever we've experienced so far. Whatever it is, be it music, be it gameplay experience, be it visuals, um, there is something here. And it's so unfair that the barrier of entry is not something you used to. Break that. And I hope I'm doing a good job on it right now. And let's be more specific now for the people who are playing video games. There's another challenge here is that I don't like turn-based video games. Now, dude, I get it again, very understandable. Um, Turn-based games have the stigma of have the reputation of being boring, and because it's really always going to be something like a character who's just going like that and staring at the enemy for like 5 minutes, just going like that. The enemy's doing the same thing, just like that. When you watch it, it's fucked, just okay, do something. So it's really up to the player to scroll through a bunch of menus and then select attack and then select who to attack and then the attack happens. I get it. That looks kind of weird and not even exciting. But I implore you to think that um, in a turn based video game like this, the challenge is the tactic. If you have patience in reading a book, you know, and speculating what happens next and just looking at a bunch of words with no pictures, then you have patience for just sitting down, thinking on what should the next move be. Should the next move be attack? Should the next move be defend? Should the next move be run away? You know, you have three potions left. Do you use it this turn to revive your fellow, um, your comrade? Do you use this turn to heal yourself or your friend? Do you use this turn to attack? You know, this game is specifically designed to pressure you into certain options that is at the very least interesting, regardless of what kind of gamer you are. So, yes, if you're fond of strategy games, this is the game for you. If you're fond of turn-based games, this is the game for you. If you're if you hate turn-based games, I dare say this will be the game for you. Because here's the twist. It's not really even a turn-based video game purely. The developer has mentioned that the inspiration for creating the gameplay in the video game in general is not really even Final Fantasy or the popular turn-based games. No, surprisingly, the guy mentioned specifically Sekiro, you know, and Devil May Cry, I think, as far as I remember, which are action games. The point being is that this turn-based game is actually designed so that regardless of the strategy you're employing, if you're good enough, if your reflex is fast enough, when the enemy attacks, you can parry it. You can just make sure that you don't get damage from that attack. If you're if you're paying attention well enough, if you're fast enough, you know, you will see a bunch of videos in YouTube in which the streamer is just basically going, uh, 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 because it's almost a rhythm game. It's almost like um a game where you need to be really good at inputting keys based on what you're seeing. And that's really just basically a good description of an action game, I guess. So this is a turn-based game, yes. This is an action game, kind of, yes. So there is literally no reason for you to hate this if you don't like a particular game genre. It's unfair. You should enjoy this. It's that amazing. So do not be turned off by the type of game it is. There is something here for you. And yeah, I guess that's all I have. I guess that's all I have to try and convince people into playing. Expedition 33, Clair Obscur. And I'd like to share something interesting about this game. When I played this video game, um, it kind of sort of gave me a very unique type of depression that I haven't really felt in a lot of video games. Just 30% of my progress on the video game, just probably just 5 hours in, maybe 10 hours in, I don't remember. I recall myself just being embarrassingly sad. Like, oh, fuck, just, ugh. Ah, those were the sounds I'm making. Why? Because ex- experiencing how beautiful it is, experiencing how great every aspect of the video game is. I felt I felt a kind of depression in knowing that there is an end to this. I will finish this and it'll be done. And there will be nothing like this in at least a decade or something like that. Some very depressing time uh, measurement. So, yeah, that is what I felt. My point being is that this is just that good. You do not want it to end, but it will 100% end, and there's nothing you can do but just accept the end. So, yeah, that's how good this game is. Um, Next topic. If you have time for literally anything else in terms of enjoying something or trying to, just experiencing something, uh, if your hobby is reading a book, that's a lot of hours, right? If you have time for that, you have time for this. If you have time for binging Korean soap operas for hours and hours and hours, you have time for this. If you have time for going outside and just saying hi to your friends and just drinking yourself crazy, talking about nostalgia again and again. Most of the time, you're just talking about how the good old days were, just repetitive shit like that. You have time for this game. There is really no good reason. If you have time for enjoyment at something, invest here. It'll be paid back, tenfold. This is a great, great, not just video game. Fuck saying this is a great video game. This is a great art piece, and you deserve to enjoy it. So yeah, again, just want to super duper emphasize how the false like stigma, the false narrative of video game being bad will probably push you away from this thing. And please try not to be that person. Try not to be pushed by that false narrative. And I trust you in knowing that yes, there is such a thing. Video gaming is not all that bad. At least hold on to that and give this your chance in proving that right. This video game deserves that. So yeah, that's it really. Thank you for listening to me talk about this. Do not be that person that I mentioned earlier, just hating on something without no proper reason. Those people probably would even defend that, yes, I played it and it sucked because they already have the mindset, they already have the motive to hate it, you know? And to be honest, they probably struggled to find a way to hate it before committing to hating it. That's what I think is going on with those people. Do not be that person. Do not be that person. And yeah, if I was successful to hook you, if I was successful to actually get you into playing and enjoying and loving this video game, Um, if I was able to make you or convince you to be part of this yucky, disgusting cult of just simply loving video games because they're good, um, these yucky people who are passionate to say something is good and you should play this game. These stupid people that do that. If I'm able to convert you into being that person, please help me break the barrier. Help me pave the way for those who come after.
For those who come after.
One of the reasons I'm doing this video is mainly because I would really rather just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, because if I try to actually perfect this might take 6 hours a day for like 3 years. So let's not do that. And okay, and lastly, really just a technological, yeah, uh, crazy graphics, um, break the barrier of video games, and maybe it'll be something crazy and something you would like. And yeah, let's move on to the next topic. And naghang yung video. Oh, that's fucked. What's going on? Start. And take two. Saan ba ako? Okay, so give this a chance. Please, please give this a chance. It's all straight to the point with everything. Amazing story. But yeah, I'm sorry. We're talking about gameplay, not really story. So, yeah, you already know. You already know that people are dying